Since the beginning, man has been fascinated by the concept of time. It seems as though the more we learn about it, the more questions we find ourselves asking. What is time anyway? Does time exist solely on a straight line, or is it jumbled up and nonlinear? Is it possible to travel through time? Many people, including scientists, believe that time travel is theoretically possible. Some claim to have even experienced it themselves. Let's discuss this concept a bit further by taking a look at the top 3 people who have claimed to be time travelers. Number 3. The man who met his future self. In August of 2006, Håkan Nordqvist came home to find his kitchen starting to flood with water. Thinking that it must be a problem with the pipes, Håkan gathered his tools and started to look for the source of the leak beneath his sink. Strangely, Håkan found himself having to crawl inside of the cabinet because he wasn't able to reach the pipes. He crawled in further and further, almost as if he was entering a tunnel rather than the cabinet underneath his kitchen sink. Eventually, Håkan saw a light. When he reached it, he knew at once that he was in the future. Håkan was able to stand up and get a brief glimpse of what the world is going to look like in the year 2042, 25 years after this video you're watching was published on YouTube. Håkan also claimed that he met his 72-year-old self, who had the same exact tattoo as he did in the same spot on his arm, and even knew things that only present-day Håkan could know, such as where he had hidden secret objects in the first grade. Because he knew that most people wouldn't believe his story when he told it to them, present-day Håkan used his phone to take a brief video while standing next to his future self. While it's certainly strange that Håkan didn't take any more pictures or videos of the year 2042, a professor of theoretical physics by the name of Hans Carlson says that people shouldn't be so quick to dismiss Håkan's story. There are many theories about time travel, he says, and one is the twin paradox. There are theories about black holes and about wormholes, shortcuts between 2 places in the universe. According to the laws of physics, these are theoretically possible. Did Håkan Nordqvist really find a wormhole beneath his sink and come into contact with his future self? Or is his story purely fictional? Tell us what you think in the comments. Number 2. The Vision. In 1932, a German photographer by the name of Joachim Brandt and a newspaper reporter named J. Bernard Hutton were visiting the Hamburg shipyard to conduct interviews for a story that they were working on. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until they began packing up to leave, when suddenly they heard the sound of aircrafts flying overhead. The 2 men looked up to see the entire sky filled with warplanes, and in a matter of seconds, bombs began to explode all around them. As the surrounding area went up in flames, Brandt managed to snap a picture of the devastation before he and Hutton managed to escape and drive back to Hamburg. Shockingly, when the film was developed, there was absolutely no evidence of an attack, just a fully intact shipyard. The editor of the paper dismissed their story, even accusing the 2 men of being intoxicated and unable to clearly recall what really had happened. However, 11 years later, Hutton read in the newspaper that a Royal Air Force had dropped approximately 550 to 600 bombs on Hamburg, turning the entire city, including the shipyard, into a raging inferno and taking the lives of 60,000 people. Was this vision that both Joachim Brandt and Bernard Hutton saw in the year 1932 really a brief journey into the future? We may never know for sure, but at the very least, it's a truly bizarre coincidence. Number 1. Space Barbie. 5 years ago, a Ukrainian girl by the name of Valeria Lykayanova published a brief video online titled Space Barbie, in which she claims to be an alien time traveler sent here to help mankind move from the role of the human consumer to the role of human demigod. Valeria claims that she began to see spirits from other dimensions starting at the young age of 12, and quickly learned that she had the ability to travel outside of her body to various planets across the universe. In order to communicate with the inhabitants of these planets, Valeria claims to speak not verbally, but rather in the language of light. While it's entirely possible and even likely that the Space Barbie is just another young person looking for attention on the internet, it is fun to ask the question, what if? What if Valeria really was from somewhere other than this world, traveling through time and space to help human beings evolve? If nothing else, I think that Valeria just came up with the plot for the next big science fiction movie out of Hollywood. Thank you for liking and commenting on this video. If you like what we do, we hope that you will click the subscribe button for new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. We'll see you next time.